I will forever find it funny that people seriously thought Slime wasn't going to get another season because the first half of season 3 was mediocre. One of the biggest isekai of the past decade. Not one person, multiple people would actually think that the first half killed any chances of more. And what do they do at the end of this season? They announced not only a season 4, but a second anime movie. At the end of the day, TenSura fans are going to get a full adaptation. And TenSura is a very big and complex series, and it ain't always going to be perfect. But at the end of the day, what season 3 shows is that even if maybe you do have to slog through a bit of dry BS from time to time, you'll always end up at the finish line, and the finish line's gonna be good because you get something like the festival arc, which to me became my personal favorite thing I've seen in the Slime anime. And goddamn, give me that season 4 in a movie ASAP. Now, of course, you know, I have those full live reactions over on Patreon if you want to see my full and good thought to any of these wonderful TenSura episodes over there exclusively. So, quite a bit happened. People are going to meme it saying that, you know, once again, we ended with a meeting. Meetings are never the issue. It's just what they're talking about. It's the context of what they're explaining. And what, like I've said throughout many videos, the tactics of this series are a lot different than the political economic side of this series. And to kickstart the episode off with pulling the rug from not only the spies' feet, but the merchants in general, was fantastic. We knew we secured the funds to pay off everyone that we owed, but at the end of the day, to see that in execution, most of the merchants there were just like, hey, we only accept dwarven coins, blah blah blah, which is a shitty thing to do, but whatever, it is what it is. Then we have the one dude who was working with the douchebags who basically, it would have been a very bad situation had we not secured that money, because Rimuru would have had to accept the money that he was going to be given from him, which would have put us in their debt, and it just would have snowballed into a very poor situation. But instead, we come out with all the money and saying, hey, you are paid. Look at all the reporters. Reporters, document this. The fact that they basically, it's the equivalent of getting it on camera for a world that really doesn't have a lot of surveillance, but then again, Rimuru did kind of invent that, so that's going to be an interesting, progression in season 4 and 5. The idea that not only paying off, showing that you honor your debts, if you owe someone money, Demon Lord Rimuru will pay you off. He's not going to just threaten you and say, get the hell out of here. He pays you off. But he also expels your ass and says, never come back to my country because you guys are scumbags. And the idea that they try to threaten, they try to say, hey, the council won't like that. You'll never be invited. And Rimuru's like, okay, bet. I don't give a shit. I'm making my own. This is the equivalent of Rimuru saying, I'll start my own country with blackjack and hookers. I don't need what you guys are offering. Fan-freaking-tastic. And I love the idea of the reporters just with big grins, like writing it down like, oh man, this is some juicy stuff. Like, Rimuru knows what he's doing. I love how rather than the person who is trying to rope in and bring him over to Greed's side and basically have him under their thumb, he doesn't like throw a temper tantrum. The last shot we see of this man is him walking and just pouting because he's like, God damn, I never stood a chance. What a freaking fantastic ending to that whole dynamic. The best is that Rimuru more or less confirms. Now, the viewer already knew we can't trust Yuki, but for Rimuru, it's been heavily implied Rimuru has his suspicions, and while he's still leaving like a small percentage like, hey, we're not going to act until we're 100% sure, but we pretty sure Yuki a scumbag. And I like the idea that it's kind of like keep your friends close but enemies closer sort of a situation. As they're progressing and doing their thing, they're keeping a watchful eye, but at this point it's better to make them think that they don't know anything rather than acting prematurely, right? We already know season 4 is going to have something that's going to pop off. I mean, it's already been in the back burner, and I mean, some of the conflict we had in this season came from Greed's side, right? So it's like, you know, if that little bitch got her way, she would destroy Tempest right now, or at least attempt to, but Grandfather's like, hey, chill you little rascal, you. I think what's really nice, though, about the idea of TenSura is that what started off, if I look at my impressions of season 1, and I really like every time they do the wide shot of seeing how far Tempest has progressed, it looks like in terms of the main shot, there's still at least half the land left that they can do stuff with if they really wanted to. But the idea that you start off thinking Tempest is about building a country at most, right? You know, a big nation of monsters. And the overall goal has evolved to making humans and monsters coexist peacefully. But it's become so much bigger, and it has this, like, connecting nations, building roads, building train tracks, building bridges to quite literally build a world. And I love the idea of Rimuru thinking of it, seeing a modern civilization with trains running, humans and monsters mingling as they, they're chatting over dinner. That's what TenSura is about. TenSura isn't about watching Rimuru kill someone. TenSura is not about watching Rimuru do the next crazy action move. TenSura is a political series about building a nation. That's literally what it started out as, and it's clearly been the core thing overall. With building something as big as a nation, there will be wars, of course, and we're gonna see more. It's just nature of the beast. But we have very good alliances right now, and while it's not guaranteed all these alliances will last forever, they're so secure as it stands that very few people are standing in our way, but those who do are going to put up a mean fight. And just seeing an episode like this bring everyone together, the roundtable meetings have gotten a lot more impressive because we have so many more political bigwigs kind of working alongside us. And of course, when we take it back into the, the smaller chamber of Tempest with our closest allies, that's when maybe we start throwing some shade at characters like Yugi, but it's just, for a show that started off already pretty big. Like, Rimuru started Tempest building quite quickly, but it's crazy to see how much further it's grown, and I love the idea of an end goal. Of course, there's going to be different fights that are going to happen, but the end goal is really just building a nation and making it prosper and have these connections that are going to build the most peaceful and progressive nation known to man. And while, of course, there's still the funny moments, like a king kind of saying, bro, what was that? And it's like, what are you talking about? It's like, that could quite literally change political warfare as we know it. I didn't think of that, but yeah, it really could, because surveillance, it's pretty easy for someone to use magic in a way to, like, do some bullshit or some technology you've developed, right? Like, imagine just casually introducing something that for entertainment's interesting, but that shit's gonna spread like wildfire that Rimuru has recon that will literally quite change warfare as we know it. Those moments are never going to be boring to me, and it's so freaking funny. I think it's rightful to criticize the first half of this season, but the second half was damn good. Like, the Colosseum stuff was just freaking fantastic, and as I've said, like, you could have a spin-off of just focusing on characters going through the goddamn dungeon, and that would be an entertaining spin-off. Slime Diaries. Talking to you, season 2, make it happen. Let me know what you thought of this episode, the season overall. How excited are you for season 4 and the movie? Let me know down below. Be sure to leave a like if you enjoyed, subscribe if you're new around here, and of course ring that bell. And like I mentioned, we have full live reactions over on Patreon, and hey, while you're over there, I'll also give you a video shout out. So today we got Jonathan Bromlow, Ben Liu, DJ Samuel, Taco Tuesday, Benjamin Henderson, X Nico, Nugzio, Fuzzy, Lily Bones, and we also have Pokemon 222, 888. So I appreciate the support, everyone. Please take care, and you all have a good one.